All right.
So I'm out here with my man Sam, fighting the good fight. We've been up here all morning. We've been pulling garlic mustard. That's why we look so ragged right now. What I wanted to show off though is this forest here. It's fairly heavily degraded. I believe it was E.O. Wilson who said that the two main threats to our native local wildlife are habitat loss and invasive species. And as you can see behind me here, we've got quite a thick forest. It's not a healthy forest though. What we're looking at is primarily honeysuckle. There's 3 species of bush honeysuckle, and this is all what you see behind me here. If you look at the canopy above, there's very few canopy trees here. It's mostly box elder, which is an early transitional species of tree in a forest. In front of me, I'm looking at the dead bodies of ash trees. They were killed by an invasive insect that got into our forest and basically wiped out our ash trees in our forests. In front of me is a horticultural introduction, English ivy, which is literally a ground cover. As you can see around us here, it's even covering the trees, it's covering the logs. It really prevents any of our native wildlife or wildflowers and plants to come up through that. We've got buckthorn right here next to me with these blackish berries, another horticultural introduction. What else? We've got lesser celandine, which is in the buttercup family. You might have seen it blooming maybe a week, 2 weeks ago with bright yellow flowers. It's rapidly taking over large swaths of Cincinnati. It might show up on your lawn and you might think it's pretty, but you should kill it. So what I'm trying to say is here we have one of the problems, invasive species to our local wildlife. The other is habitat loss. Habitat loss is mostly affected by humans taking more land for our own purposes. Now, while there's good reasons for that, oftentimes, in our own yards, what we can do to help ameliorate these problems is in one step, is to plant native plants. By doing that, we're not choosing non-native plants or plants that could potentially become invasive species in our forests, exotic invasive species, causing harm. And also, we can add habitat to our ecosystems through using our own backyards as ecosystem habitat for our wildlife, for the birds, for the insects, and for the well-being of our total forest. So in a moment, we're going to go into a good forest, and I'm going to just show you just the amount of diversity of plants and how there's still so much to be learned and gleaned from our native forest. So here we are in a fairly well-restored forest, and it's kind of difficult to explain to people in one shot why native plants are important. Plants have many different qualities. Each one is very unique in its own right. And so what I have done here is kind of gathered in a nice spot in the forest where there's a nice diversity of plants around us. And I'll just show you a couple reasons why they may be interesting or valuable to us. For example, this is a Paw Paw sapling. Paw Paw is the host plant of the zebra swallowtail butterfly and also provides us with the largest native fruit in North America. It's a great big fruit like this. Some of you may have heard of it before, and it ripens up in the fall. So you have to come back in the fall to take your fill of it if you'd like. In front of us, we've got wild ginger, and it's actually formed a nice ground cover here. Oftentimes I'm asked what's a great ground cover for a shady area that tolerates really poor soil, and instead of English ivy, I almost always recommend wild ginger. It's got really interesting leaves and a really unique flower as well. Behind me, we've got Allium, tricoccum, which is ramps or leeks, which again produces an edible food that you can eat. It's got a very oniony flavor and it's actually delicious. The trees above us even support us in other ways. We have maple trees here which give us maple syrup. We've got oak trees which provide abundant acorns for a number of wildlife. Oaks are very crucial to our native flora or fauna here, especially our insect community. In front of me I have blue cohosh with its really strange little yellow flowers out right now. This has traditionally been used as a Native American medicinal plant. We also have some quite beautiful flowering plants like this waterleaf with very interesting leaf pattern with what looks like a dappled leaf with water spots on it, which gives it its name. Later on it'll put out these head of blue bell-shaped flowers. Quite beautiful, great for the shade as well. Yeah, and so all these plants have some quality to them that make them valuable to us. And if we lose them, then we just lose all these great attributes. And not only that, but like I've just mentioned how they're valuable to us, but they're infinitely valuable to the entire ecosystem and the crucial interworkings of all these organisms. So there's a lot more to native plants than I can summarize in one video. There's hundreds of plants out here with thousands of interconnections and literally millions of years of natural history and development in the process of what you see around us. So we're going to keep making these videos, and if you want to learn more, go to our YouTube page or our Facebook, and also get involved with us. We do a lot of education. We also have a great habitat restoration project called tree forestation, and it's a really great way to get your hands dirty in this, learn hands-on how you can help the forest, and then come to some of our educational classes to learn more. And with that, just thanks, and go visit your local green spaces.